Hello everybody, this is HG Shaves here, and I'm back with the video. Today, I'm very excited to share with you perhaps the first ever review on YouTube of the newest release from Spartium Natural Cosmetics, Meštar. When you have that on the S, you give it a little H sound. That's what I learned about Croatian this week. And so here is Meštar in all its glory, and also I'll be talking about the Aftershave Lotion, also called Meštar. And from what I've been told, Meštar means roughly what you would think it means, something close to master, and you can call somebody the Meštar of shaving or the Meštar of music or whatever. And so what Spartium has done is they've released a whole line with this name, Meštar. And these are the two shaving products, from what I understand, and then there's some other kind of skin cosmetic products that don't necessarily have to do with shaving. But as I said, from Croatia, these products were sent to me, and I want to thank my buddy who made this happen. You know who you are. Thanks so much. So, in some ways, Spartium is very similar to Echo SMA that I reviewed last week. They're both kind of cosmetic companies who have focused on natural ingredients, using natural products in their products, for lack of a better word. And I'll just read about the soap to you here. There's a little description here on the side. It says, a true gentleman's shaving soap formulated with aloe vera, cucumber, glycerin, shea, and cacao butter, hydrates and leaves your skin smooth. Meštar shaving soap generates a rich and foamy lather that helps protect the skin from irritation by improving razor glide. So that tells you basically the Spark Notes version of what the soap is about. So it is a vegetal base, but it has all of those wonderful ingredients in there. In terms of the scent, let's talk about the scent here. To me, all I really get is mint. And I know that there is a little bit of mint, like, I don't know, is it oil? It says leaf juice powder. So something that came from the actual plant that they put in this. And there is also a patchouli essential oil in this. But to me, overwhelmingly mint. This is what the soap looks like in the container, by the way. I've been scooping it out. It's very soft. Well, not very soft, but it's a soft soap. And I think this container is kind of interesting. Apparently, it's mostly being used by barbers at the moment who would prefer, you know, a tin like this, whereas we in the US might prefer something a bit wider. And so I've also heard that in a future release, they are going to change these tins to be a bit more, let's say, wet shaving friendly. So that's sort of the intro on the soap. And well, what can I say? It's been really, really easy to work with this week, and I think no more introduction is required. Let's just hop right into this. For the brush today, I've used a couple different brushes this week, but ultimately settled on using the Everready 300P, which if you follow me closely, you know that this used to have a brown Maggard synthetic knot in it. And well, it's since been swapped out. Thank you to my friend who has been taking care of these knots for me. And yeah, I'm going to, well, I've got it smushed into my bowl over here. As I said, this is a little over half a teaspoon worth of soap. And because it's so soft and sticky, it's kind of difficult to get it really spread evenly, you know, the way you would visually like it to look, but I haven't had an issue with loading the soap, and I'll talk to you more about that in just a sec. So I'm going to wet the face and bring you back in just a sec. All right, so I've got water on my face, wet the brush through. I'm gonna give it 2 shakes. That's my usual. And then now we're just gonna go straight in to lathering, or loading up the soap, I should say. So in terms of the soap's performance, as my friend said, the soap, in his opinion, might be too easy to use. And I know what he means by that. By the way, You start off with some pretty big bubbles, but you just keep working it and it comes together, no problem. Yeah, and so regarding to his comment about the soap is too easy to use, you know, I've come at this with a wet brush, dry brush. I used a Badger, not on this week, and just really had no issues in loading the soap or building up the lather that I wanted once I, you know, moved to the face. And so you'll see here, oh, we got a stray. There we go. So as you see, the bubbles instantly kind of go away. And it gets to be kind of a, I don't know, I would call this like a low structure sort of paste. It doesn't froth up a bunch, but you can still tell that you're, you know, loading the brush properly, and I should say, you know, it doesn't look visually unfamiliar when you're working this up. So I think probably have enough soap on there, a little bit more just for fun, and that's what it looks like on the brush. And let's just go into building our face lather here. Okay, here we go. If you'll have noticed, I decided a little bit late to grow out the mustache for the month of November. I never been a big mustache guy, but in previous years I had one for as long as like 6 months at a time, and then last year I'm pretty sure I just grew it out for November, and then I think I got rid of it after that. Actually, to see, you know, I was like, do I really want to grow a mustache? How does that look? I kind of forget. And so I was able to go back to my videos from last year and see how it looked. And I'm like, yeah, that looks actually okay. My facial hair grows rather slowly, as you can see. And so that's why I do shave so often, is because I can't get away with the, you know, grizzly 5 o'clock shadow stubble look. That doesn't work for me. So in terms of once you start working this up, the mint comes up pretty strongly to me. And, you know, again, because they are using actual mint, it is a very kind of authentic mint smell. And I should say that these well, Spartium is based in the city of Split, I believe that's how you say it, Split, Croatia, which is kind of a coastal state. And for that, they don't have, you know, really serious winters like they might have in, you know, I don't know, Switzerland or Germany or something. I was saying that to my friend earlier this week. Like, I was kind of surprised that this soap and the aftershave scent are so kind of fresh smelling, and definitely remind me of, you know, summertime here. And he reminded me that the particular city that they're from is rather, you know, kind of mild most of the year, and certainly warm in the summer. I believe it's on one of the seas there, you know, it's a coastal town. Hopefully I said that. There's a slight cooling effect from the soap. It's not overpowering or intense by any means relative to, you know, the menthol and the synthetic cooling products that I've reviewed on this channel before, but it's definitely there, and I think it's nice. You know, I don't know if that's the mint, that's how it works. When you put in, you know, natural mint into a soap, it's gonna cool slightly, but that's how it feels to me anyway. So yeah, as you can see, just absolutely no issues working up the soap. You can kind of leave it like this if you want. You can add a little bit more water. And that's the only thing that I haven't really quite been able to figure out this week, is how much water does it really need? And what is the ideal kind of consistency? that still requires a little bit more testing on my part, but there's never been a bad consistency that I've formed. And I mean, this lather, it just looks wonderful. It feels great. And yeah, I'm really impressed with how it works up. And so now I'm going to get the razor warmed up, and then I'll actually talk to you about how it performs during the shave. Just a sec. For my razor today, I've got my old friend, the Gem Junior. This was the first gem razor that I ever used, and got me down this path of trying out all of the vintage gems, or at least the ones I could get my hands on. So in terms of the performance of the soap, it feels plenty slick. And there seems to be a good amount of protection. Cushion protection, I kind of mean the same thing. Same thing by that. It doesn't have, you know, tons of density and cushion like perhaps something with more animal products in it, specifically wood. But again, this is a vegetal base, and so of course it's not really fair to compare. I think from those natural butters that they put in, it certainly does improve the face feel from just something that was very coconut oil heavy, which this soap is. I think coconut oil is like the second ingredient on the list. And so something you have to consider with a soap like this, in the European market, is it has to be compared to some of those big commercial brands over there. The one that I've heard it compared to the most is Paraso. Just because that's what so many barbers use. Even in Croatia. There's also, you know, Cella, soaps like that. And so I think the soap has to be kind of similar in terms of ease of use and face feel to those brands. If it's trying to directly compete, you know, if it wants to do something totally different, it wants to be this really kind of niche artisan soap, then no, it can do whatever it wants. But from what I understand, they're trying to directly compete. So there was a nice first pass, no issue. There's a little bit of residual slickness left over, but not a tremendous amount. But again, doesn't matter to me because I got more lather in the brush. I'm just gonna rinse and bring it back in just a sec. Pass number 2. Pass number 2 here, cross and against the grain. Back to kind of the European soap comparison. You know, as always, when you try a new product and you review it in this context, especially one that's perhaps not in your market, meaning it's international in some way, you have to consider what the product is intended to do. Like, is it meant to be the newest, greatest base from Holy Cow or Talbot Shaving or people like that? And you realize in most cases, especially outside of our crazy little country where we're so invested in the artisan shading thing. Just in most other countries, it's not the same. And so, what's my point with this? Well, even though this does feel different to the usual artisan soap I would use here, I still think as a vegetal European soap, it definitely performs better than those commercial products I mentioned, like Cella, Parasso. Particularly in the post-shave department, if that really matters to you. I used Cella for the first time on my channel a few weeks ago. And while I was impressed with the ease of lather and the performance similar to this soap, that soap I found to be very drying because of all the coconut oil that they kind of have to include. I should say they don't have to, but many include or choose to. And so my point with this, if you're in Europe, you need a great performing vegetal soap, I think this is the option for you. Especially if you're accustomed to Parasso, Cella, things that are more commercial and especially not natural like this product is. I definitely would encourage you to give this one a go. At the moment, it's extremely fairly priced, in my opinion. I believe it's in Croatian currency, which doesn't mean much to me, but I did the conversion, and I think the soap, which by the way, it's like a 3.5 ounce tub of soap for the Americans, 110 grams, I believe. Yeah, 110 grams for the other people in the world. I think it's $12 for that at the moment, which is a terrific price when you consider all of the natural ingredients that go into it. And the balm, or sorry, the lotion that I'm going to talk to you about in a second, I think this one is about $8 at the moment. And that's terrific, you know, that's a terrific price for what you're getting. And I think if this were brought to the States under certain circumstances, I think we might be interested in buying it too, under certain circumstances, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. So really nice shave, no issues with the Meštar. It's been kind of a difficult week with the weather outside changing, and so I had some, as you can see, I had some issues this week, but managed to not cause any more today. So I consider that a great success. And yeah, I'm gonna do my final rinse and come back and talk to you about this lotion. So for the aftershave, today we're gonna use the Meštar Aftershave Lotion. When I first got this, I wondered, what do they mean by lotion? Do they mean a balm, or did they really mean lotion? And I found that they really do mean lotion. So it's got a, let's say, a pretty high quality feeling pump here, and I've noticed that all I need is one. So there we go. You just take that much, and then I like to kind of spread it out on my own. Because of the consistency, I found it a little bit easier to do it this way than just like rub your hands together and then try to get it all over your face at once. And there you go. So the scent on this is not the same as the soap, which I think is terrific. We don't need more matching sets in the world. We have plenty of matching sets in the world. That's my PSA to many artisans out there, all the artisans. And so this is what I classify as a complementary scent. So it's kind of an aquatic, like sea salt smell or something, and then there's supposed to be a touch of vetiver. I don't really get that, but I get the aquatic thing, And aquatics are really nice. I didn't know what that meant when I got into this hobby, like what do they mean when they're talking about that? But I realized that I kind of associate this aquatic smell with a lot of colognes from my childhood for some reason. And speaking of colognes, when I first smelled this, when I first used this, I thought it smells a lot like Creed Aventus, or at least the dupe I have of it. And I went and compared, and they're not the same, but they are similar. They're similar. I would say that the Meštar scent here is like a bit simpler, and obviously the Creed Aventus dupe is going to have a bunch of notes and be wild. But that's the scent, which I think is great. Love the complementary scent thing. And in terms of the feel, a little bit more kind of tacky feeling than the usual bombs that I use, like Zingari or even stuff from like Holy Cow. This definitely leaves a little bit of a film on your skin, which does absorb into the skin, but it takes more than like 10 seconds with some of those bombs that are really, really quick at doing that. So just something to know, but it has felt great in use. And to me, more important than the use is I love the scent. I love the contrasting scent, especially compared to the soap, which if you just had to use mint for your post shave, I feel like that might be a little bit unfortunate for some of us. So, wow, really nice shave with the Meštar soap and Aftershave Lotion. I do wish them all the best with their business and trying to compete with those corporate bullies in Europe, if that's what they decide to do. And also if they decide to come here to the US, I think they could do that very easily just with a couple changes. And I know this has been expressed to them before from some of the people in Croatia, but if they could get, you know, a more varied scent line and not just do the mint thing, I think we would appreciate that here very much. And also the tubs deal. You know, I know some people don't like the tins in general because they do dent. I mean, I have dents in these, but that doesn't mind to me, but to some people it might. But definitely a wider container so that you can work the brush right in there. Again, for me, I don't mind scooping and put it in the bowl, but for a lot of other people, maybe it would be an issue. So those are sort of the two things that I would say to Spartium if they're looking to come here to the US, but I think they already knew that. Anyway, this has been, again, a really great week, and I'm happy to have done the international thing for the past couple weeks. In the future, I'll be looking to do a United Nations meeting of all the shaving people. We'll get together, make some international shaving laws. But next week, I'm actually going to get back to the usual kind of American artisan thing, so you all will be relieved to know that if you're my regular viewer from here in the US. So for now, this has been HG Shaves. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.